My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is January 12, 2026. It is 4:19 a.m. This is video number 3. I'm just continuing from where I left off from my last video. Actually, I was looking at this tweet. I should have put it on my last video because there's not that much to say about this. All right, because I was talking about crisis manager, and this one is a short tweet. This has to do about an article. Oh my god, 3 videos. All right, it's 5 o'clock. Okay, let's see here. A column written in the iPaper over a month ago when Harry did his cute skit on Stephen Colbert. This part really struck me. How Harry is desperately needed because he can appeal to a generation that no other royal can, and how those in power know it too. Oh well, too bad, so sad. You had your chance with Harry and Meghan 6 years ago and you blew it. Is that the one that I put? Okay, let me see. I was saying there's link. Let me pause for a second. I think I got the wrong link. Okay, so the other video, I have to check the other link. I put this on my previous video. Okay, I have to check it. All right, so this is in the description. You could read it. I'm not gonna read it. I need to stop. It's almost... All right, let's see here. I mean, the moment Harry left, you had, what's this guy? Sir Edward something was calling him to come back. The Queen need you. Charles can do this. All sort of things. There's that video.
4 times I asked the palace, or maybe 3 times I asked the palace, if we, as a media group, could meet Meghan, and it never happened. And I think if we had have met her, and if she'd have met us, things might have been different. You know, might see that we're human and she's human. Unfortunately, she did get some bad press, and that was a mistake. But you know, we asked for forgiveness and please come back because you know, this is a great country and the royal family are very important to us all. And the Queen needs your support, Harry, because you know William can't do it all, Catherine can't do it all. The Prince of Wales is taken on the Queen's role now, so he's even more busy. So, you know, Harry's badly needed here. And I hope in March, which he's got till March to rethink it, he comes back.
The moment he left, they were saying it. But meanwhile, behind the scene, the royal family were pushing him out.
Began to address Granny about the 5 options. Your Majesty, you've seen the 5 options? Yes, she said. We all had. They'd been emailed to us. 5 different ways of proceeding. Option 1 was continuance of the status quo. Meg and I don't leave. Everyone tries to go back to normal. Option 5 was full severance. No royal role, no working for Granny, and total loss of security. Option 3 was somewhere in between, a compromise, closest to what we'd originally proposed. I told everyone assembled that, above all, I was desperate to keep security. That was what worried me most. My family's physical safety. I wanted to prevent a repeat of history, another untimely death like the one that had rocked this family to its core 23 years earlier, and from which we were still trying to recover. I'd consulted with several palace veterans, people who knew the inner workings of the monarchy and its history, and they all said option 3 was best for all parties. Meg and I living elsewhere part of the year, continuing our work, retaining security, returning to Britain for charities, ceremonies, events. Sensible solution, these palace veterans said, and eminently doable. But the family, of course, pushed me to take option 1. Barring that, they would only accept option 5. We discussed the 5 options for nearly an hour. At last, the bee got up and went round the table, handing out a draft of a statement the palace would soon be releasing. announcing implementation of option 5. Wait, I'm confused. You've already drafted a statement? Before any discussion? Announcing option 5? In other words, the fix was in this whole time? This summit was just for show? No answer.
And then they're telling the people as if it is Harry who's leaving, neglecting the Queen, neglecting the institution, all of those things. Meanwhile, they were the one who were pushing Harry out. And because Harry married, Meghan had to go as well, obviously. You know, they were the force behind all those negativity that happened to Harry and Meghan. And then they're telling the public something completely different. And this is why they are upset with Harry for doing the whole interview, write his story, the Spare, and doing the Netflix documentary. Because all of these things that Harry did, exposed them. The truth were there. And they were telling people lie. All these is just childish. The more you look at it, you're saying, what the F? It didn't have to be that way. They're acting like children. They don't look beyond the ripple effect of their stupidity. Okay. But my point is this. If those who seek to shape the royal family's image and commercial appeal and who talk about brand Windsor and the firm want to succeed in a multimedia landscape, they will do well to put their arms around Harry again. Like all the world's great brands, the Windsors need to extend their relevance across all demographics, particularly a younger one. Harry can do that by speaking to an audience that is deaf to the stentorian, tons of speeches at Windsor Castle. He can speak the language of TikTok as confidently as King Charles can speak German. The thing is that Harry usually take the time to speak to young generation, those people, those young kids who have ideas but without any resources. Okay, like this, for instance.
New spin on it from the youth. As a prince, you're born at birth with a natural platform to be able to try and make a difference. Yeah, which a lot of people have to spend years and years and years getting to that point. So from that perspective, I'm very lucky to have a platform to be able to try and make change in the causes that mean a lot to me, but also to you guys. And I'm still in your generation, by the way. But at the same time, as I said, being born with a lot of privilege comes with a lot of responsibility. But I like to think that I'm going to have to spend the rest of my life earning the respect for that privilege and trying to make a difference for the rest of my life.
I'm going to bring out our two other guests because we can go deeper on this issue. So Chantal Stefanovic is going to come out, Stefanovic, and David Peterson, they're coming right out. And this is a real life exciting. So Chantal is here from Nottingham, and David is here from Pullman. So we're going to tell your stories, but before I do that, I want to use you to help me introduce Chantal's story because we're going to start with her. One of your programs is called Full Effect. And Full Effect is it's
one of their programs.
Well, where the Royal Foundation has gotten deeply involved. Is that fair to say? Adopted would not be the right word, but certainly you've created it together in some ways, right?
In short, before I went to Afghanistan in 2012, turned around to the Royal Foundation said, please find somewhere where a community which is suffering from youth violence and knife crime, of which we can go into and try and help them. But it's got to be led by them. And then I think it was April 2013, arrived in Nottingham, chosen by the Royal Foundation, and met this incredible group of young people that, in their way, were trying to do everything they could, but had been let down so many times by other organizations and other people. Just some people had struggled. Once again, they come in thinking they knew exactly how to do it, and they were a letdown. And you could see it in their faces. So all we wanted to do was try to work out what already existed. CRS existed, the community recording studio, headed up by Trevor Rose, and Epic Partners, of which Chantal was part of. Those two organizations existed. I think they worked 200 meters apart in St. Anne's, in Nottingham. They'd never met each other.
Okay.
So that was a classic example of us coming and going, right, who do you guys recommend? They said them and them. Right, you guys interested in working together? Let's make this happen. And it was all led by them.
So Chantel, will you tell us a little bit first about your story before we get into the work that you do as a program coordinator for A Full Effect? Yeah. So just tell us about how you grew up, because I think in America, we have movies like James Bond that lead us to romanticize all of the UK. And we don't think of the UK having communities like Nottingham, which have had violence and very, very tough situations. I read dating back to the 1800s. Yeah. It's gone on for a very long time. You grew up in a really tough circumstance. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
So yeah, I grew up in St Anne's in Nottingham, United Kingdom. Years ago,
Nottingham, and she gives you a letter, right?
Touring.
Well, I mean, you're visiting.
Me and my band, yeah.
I didn't mean it that. I mean, but you're going around observing conditions and issues. I'm certainly not meaning to make light that are pretty significant. And this woman comes up to you and gives you a letter.
There was a group of them actually in the community recording studio, and the whole point was I was going to be there, and we were going to have an open discussion and talk about the issues of which these guys were facing, and hopefully get to some solutions.
But she didn't want to talk.
She was the only person that decided not to talk, and then handed me a letter afterwards.
I was the only female in the room as well. And
out of how many people?
There was about 12 to 13. I was the only female, and a lot of these people that were around me, you know, I lived in that area, and for a long time, you hold what's happened to you very close to your heart, and you don't want to express it because you don't want people to judge you. And because I lived around those people, you know, I just felt a little bit uncomfortable, so I forced a letter on him instead.
So you planned it. You said, I'm going to write a letter before I see, and then you read the letter. What did the letter say?
The letter was her life story on well, actually it wasn't your life story, it was as much as you could say on a two-sided piece of A4, because she quite understandably didn't want to share most of the stuff that she'd been through, which is pretty harrowing. She didn't want to share that amongst that group of people. So she decided to say, right, you need to know my backstory, you need to know exactly what happens in this community. There it is, it's in a letter. So, and I really respect and admire that, but it was exactly what I needed to know that we were in the right place.
And then afterwards, you two have had this great partnership, the foundation and Full Effect, and you've actually developed a friendship. I mean, I watched you together. You seem very comfortable with each other. Is that odd to you? Does that seem unusual? I mean, I feel even odd asking, you know?
At first, I think the first time we ever met, I don't think I could say my name properly. It was...
Do you text?
It was breathed out. It's like, Chantel. And that was it. So, but then as time went on, you know, Harry is an amazing person. He's very inspiring. He makes you very relaxed, and he listens. It was the first time that someone came to our community and listened to us and, you know, didn't tell us what we needed to do or how to fix ourselves. He was more intrigued about us and what he could do for us instead of anything else. So, yeah, he was really, really inspirational.
So, David?
All right. Unlike William, on the other hand, prefer a finished product. People who have already made it, people who have struggled to make it to the top, like Beckham, like what's the other actor? Tom Cruise. These are the people he prefer hanging out with because they already made it. William doesn't like to do the work, help the people to build them up, to make them whatever it is that they want to be. Harry, on the other hand, loved to start from the foundation to help build young people up to make it to the top. And Charles have that idea as well because of Idris Elba. All right? I guarantee there will be those in power who recognize this and will be keenly anticipating the day when Prince Harry is welcomed back into the fold. Harry knew it. This is the thing. that William failed to understand. Harry understand his position. Even if William could not do a fraction of what Harry is doing, because they frame him, put him in this glass, like he can be whatever, the way they train him to be. But at least you understand your position. You're gonna be king. But the thing is that he listened to the tabloid. And I think also the father, Charles, set William up. I actually believe so, because since he was in his late teens, early 20s, Charles was bringing him to parties to mingle with the tabloid, to bend the knee to the tabloid. So Charles set William up. And also, when Charles used to say he wants to slam down the monarchy, okay, I don't know who Charles was listening to think this way. Maybe when you look at the way we are now, especially in the US, what's happening with Trump destroying the country from within, maybe the tabloid was the people who runs the tabloid. Okay, that's what I mean, the tabloid. The people, the owner of the tabloid were probably putting nonsense in Charles' head to pretty much get the royal family out of the way. So now, you know, slim down and then train William to listen to the tabloid, thinking that without the tabloid, you'll be nothing. Okay? And then William actually listened to him, and William cannot do some of the things that Harry can do. If he had understood or understand his position, without him, there will not be any content. This is Harry's mindset. Without me doing things or me inviting you to see what I'm doing, you will not have anything to write about. But William doesn't understand that. So even if William cannot do what Harry does, the main thing here, if he had put his head together with his brother, and I've said this many times, do you see how powerful the two brothers would have been in the UK? Okay, while William is doing different things for the monarchy, Harry's doing the thing that he does, it would have been a plus for both of them, the children of Diana. But William decided to do what he did, so he deserves whatever he gets. The assumption of the writer remind me of yuppie and gated communities who wear graffiti art sneakers in order to look hip without understanding graffiti's root as resistance art in the first place. Prince Harry is not a puppet to the round to speak TikTok. TikTok is on cue. Let's see here, there's one. They act like Harry isn't a married man with 2 children. They treat him like he's their court jester to entertain them. You can say that again. They've never seen Prince Harry as a human being. That's the fundamental disrespect that is galling. Yeah, that is true. And then, like I said in one of the videos I did this morning, is that whenever Harry and William used to do joint engagement, William always said Harry will be drinking and smoking and all of that. That's what they wanted of Harry.
What? Well, when I was younger, I wanted to be a policeman, but I wouldn't want to be that now.
Most popular cop on the block.
Exactly.
What would you want to do?
I think I don't know. It's a really tricky question. It goes through my head lots. I'd like to fly helicopters, definitely. I'd like to be some sort of heli pilot, you know, working for the UN maybe or something like that. Go off and do some, you know, I'd have to be doing something active outside and doing sort of fun stuff, but with an edge to helping people.
How about you, Harry?
He'd probably sit in and play computer games and drink beer.
Thanks a lot. No, I honestly, I don't know how well.
Yeah, for a concert it'll be easy, and it's actually been a lot tougher than you imagine.
Yeah. We couldn't have done it with everybody else's help. Yeah. Everyone coming together, all the little cogs and pieces put together to turn out to get this, and it's just amazing.
I mean, to be fair, we know nothing about concerts. So, you know,
you do now.
Well, yeah, no, everyone else has done all the hard work. We just, you know, came up with the idea. So.
Has there been any kind of diva demands or sort of pop stars you've had to deal with that have been quite tricky?
We couldn't possibly be so indiscreet.
The Spice Girls were quite keen to.
He's been the hardest. He's, you know, some cigarettes somewhere and a beer. That's about it, really. But apart from that, it's been pretty easy.
Meanwhile, Harry was keeping to himself, and he was trying to branch out, doing his own thing, Remember, Santa Bali was doing very well for years. Out of jealousy, you see what happened. Okay, they may not come out front and center saying the other brother caused that to dismantle or whatever Santa Bali is right now. I haven't really looked too deep into it anymore because Harry and the other Prince Yoso left. So it's not the same anymore. Out of jealousy, he will rather destroy something. It's unbelievable. Okay, Harry has Prince Philip's sense of humor, but with Princess Diana's empathy and charisma. He's also loyal, smart, and hardworking. He had been a great asset to that family. Their loss is the world gain. And Meghan, as an American and biracial with a large Instagram following before she met Harry, also appeals to a much larger and younger demographic. The level of stupidity of the monarchy not to hold on to Harry and Meghan is astounding. That is true. And Harry warned them. And the last thing says 100%. Let's go to the other one. Where am I? 34. Okay. Harry warned them. They had Princess Diana. They let Princess Diana go. They have another chance, they let them go again. So that's it. Alright. And then the thing is that Meghan came with her followers, 3 million followers. That was her army. Everything happening in the media and on the derangers side sites this weekend has been quite amusing. I'm still not sure about some of the speculation, but it's all painted beautifully for William to shit his pants. Cheer to 2026. Let's see here. Of course, you can say this simply his PR team attempting to shape his narrative, while placing a narrative into the media until he starts to harden and to receiving opinion is a core PR technique. When you put all those trends together, speculation about Meghan returning, speculation about the children returning, the absence of any serious attempt by the King's office to shut down stories that Harry could open the Invictus game alongside his father, and William's apparent move to bolster crisis management expertise, it becomes hard to avoid the conclusion that preparation are indeed being made on both sides for Harry getting his security back and setting up a bigger Sussex franchise in the UK. And the thing is that Harry have always said he will always be returning. He always wanted to, he had things he was doing in the UK. Because when he left the UK, he wanted Fragmore to be his headquarters. Whenever he's in the UK, that's where he will go. But the father decided to take it away from him. In a way, I think it was a good thing in disguise. That way, because at some point they wanted him to give, what was it, 28 days notice in advance if he wants security. So by taking the Fragmore away from him, knowing that some of the tabloids were against Harry, they would have known if Fragmore was still his headquarters. Whenever he's in the UK, even if Harry did not give the 28 notice, they will know he's there because he will be staying at Fragmore. So the father did him a good favor. I don't know. Maybe Charles knew something we don't know. I don't know. But then again, when he went to visit him, he was doing the Invictus in Canada, 1 year leading to the Invictus. And when they claimed Charles had cancer, he flew right away to the UK, and Charles wanted him to stay someplace that was not secure. So I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But anyway, let's continue. Tom is going to have a stroke in 2026. This year is going to drive him back to heavy drinking. So entertaining. Let's not wish that, because if someone is drinking and then decided to drive, it could cause harm to any of us. You don't know if you might cross paths. So I don't like to wish this kind of thing on people. The way he and Richard Eden are writing, it almost feels like a war their master has already lost is about to happen. It's all about plotting these government conspiracies and a PR war. These people don't think logically or positive. It's always negative. After these two, that's it. Why is William so threatened by the Sussex's return? Seriously. You don't see Harry and Meghan giving a hoot when they make announcements about the King and William visiting the US this year. if you're living authentic life, you shouldn't care who comes around you. That's it. It's also the double standard, because there is never a question of why is work-shy Will and lazy Kate are working extra hard, same hard Harry is doing multiple engagement in the UK and Ukraine. Alright, that's it. Let's go to the next one. Alright, I need to finish and start editing. I have 3 tweets, and 2 of them have nothing to do with the Sussexes or the Royals. Jealousy and bitterness from the get-go. The future queen can't stand the thought of not being the star of the show. She's a bratty, lazy, uncharismatic, immature, and deeply insecure woman. Alright, let's see here. Okay, so this was written in January 2026. I shared this on my community board already. Kate Middleton dodged meeting Meghan Markle for as long as she could, but her reservation about Prince Harry's then girlfriend came from a good place. Whatever. Trash Wag Daily Fail, Kate Middleton's reservation come from her own insecurity. Meghan Sussex existing as Harry's wife is none of her business. She has an entire queen consort lane, but Meghan get her tangle up. Rhetorically speaking, yes. Kate is a fragile, immature, and controlling brat. Okay, bingo, undeniable, 1001% true stated, no lies were detected. Right, doesn't this headline prove Meghan wasn't welcome with open arms? Exactly. She thought Harry was including in the package when she landed Will. LOL. Oops. This article do not make Kate look good at all. I don't think they care. She's actually less of a publicity seeker than Meghan, so that's pretty hilarious. Has she ever declared she wanted privacy? Where is this one coming? Okay, the derangers are here. I don't have time to correct them, but I have time to black though. Meghan never said anything about privacy. She even explained it in the Oprah interview, but these people refuse to listen, so that's it. Next tweet.
Didn't you have an expectation that you're going to have to lose privacy?
Well, it's 2 things here.
That's part of the deal.
2 things here. I think everyone has a basic right to privacy. Basic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking about anything that anybody else wouldn't expect. So if you're at work and you have a photograph of your child on your desk and your coworker says, "Oh my gosh, your kid's so cute. That's fantastic. Can I see your phone so I can see all the pictures of your child?" You go, "No, this is the picture I'm comfortable sharing with you." And then if they double down and say, "No, but you already showed me that one, so you have to show me everything." You know what? I'm just going to hire someone to sit in front of your house or hide in the bushes and take pictures into your backyard because you've lost your right to privacy because you shared one image with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of the flawed argument and its operating mechanism that they're confusing people to think. I think life is about being able to share our stories and share parts of our lives that you're comfortable with. There's no one who's on Instagram or social media that would say, because I shared this one picture, that entitles you to have my entire camera roll. Go ahead, look through it. No one would want that. So it's about boundaries and it's about respect. They've created a false narrative. I've never talked about privacy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just a basic understanding.
Okay, 2 more. And this is the last one that I have that has to do with the leftovers. The UK media handling of Charles' illness, long-term treatment shows that they don't care for him. Their readiness to promote Willie's reign as if Charles is already gone and capacitated proves it. The UK media continues to smear Harry and Meghan for profit, not monarchy loyalty. Alright, 41 seconds. If there's a music, I'm gonna mute it. Yeah, there's a music. Oh, maybe there's talking.
One day in the future, the nation will be facing the loss of its monarch.
Oh my God.
A few moments ago, Buckingham Palace announced the death of His Majesty King Charles III.
There's no ceremony that takes.
I almost spit my coffee. They're already talking about his death. Let me move it back. Somewhere around here.
King Charles III.
In the future. Oh my God.
There's no ceremony
These people
that
are
takes
crazy.
place on the death of a monarch. There's no coronation needed for a new king or a new queen. The moment the heart stops beating of the reigning monarch, the next in line becomes king.
extraordinary thing about an heir, but
These people are evil. Oh my God. This is so macabre. They sound really anxious to hustle off poor Charles. Yeah, I mean, I always have questions about the Queen. The way she went. I don't want to go in full detail. Go to some past videos. I really don't think she went naturally. Yes, allegedly she was sick, whatever sickness she had. But the way she went, I don't think she went naturally. Especially the things that was going around during her death. Okay, I'm gonna mention some of these. You had Meghan during the One Young World. She was very popular. A lot of positive coverage about her. Harry and Meghan went to Germany leading up to the 1 year of Invictus. Positive coverage. Red carpet. The Derangers were upset about red carpet, of all things. People lining up on the street to see them. Positive coverage. Out of nowhere, the Queen passed. And then all the debacle happened. Okay? It's almost, okay? Almost to what happened to AJ. I'm sorry I'm bringing his name into that. After the fight, he came to the US. Positive coverage. I spoke about it. The banter between the African American and the Brits girlies. Okay? It was a nice little thing between the two countries in terms of women talking. Okay? Positive coverage about him. And then he went over there and that happened. I truly believe that was meant for him to put the frown onto his face and things like that. And there's a lot of things I saw on Twitter since the death. I saw the casket traveling back and forth. I decided not to share it out of respect and things like that. And while I'm at it, my condolences to the girlies in the UK and the families, obviously the families, and AJ as well. And I think he said there was an announcement he will not be boxing anymore. I just can't imagine. The two of his friends who trained him are gone, so I don't see how he'll have the proper mindset to do this kind of physical sport. Okay, so my condolences to the deceased families and AJ as well, and the squaddies, where I share their videos out of good humor. So together, us in the US and you guys in the UK, you know, protect him. Okay, he's a good guy. I've seen a lot of other videos talking positive about him, and him, you know, you could see his true character. All right, so that's that. Why did I bring that? About the frown, how the Queen passed, and the positive coverage about Harry and Meghan, and then this happened to the Queen, and then it went haywire since then. And then with AJ's thing, the fight came to the US, positive coverage and things like that, and then he went to Nigeria and that happened. I will consider it almost the same thing, because they do not want certain group of people to be happy. I'm telling you, these people are evil. Okay, I agree 100%. When King's illness become a rehearsal for his successor's coronation, it says everything. The UK media isn't protecting the crown, it's betting on the next horse, while cashing in by attacking Harry and Meghan, loyalty or profit. Bullseye. Poor Willie has not recovered since the King announced he was paring down his cancer treatment. He's struggling to reconcile the reality of pretending to still be married for the next 15 years while waiting to be crowned. And I love it for him. That's insensitive and disrespectful in every way. Have these people no sense of shame? I was screaming when I saw this. Billy Idol has no chill, lol. Right? Okay, after these two, bottom up. The feudal monarchy have been screwing the UK taxpayers for years and years time to put them on the rubbish tip and vote for elected head of state more democratic than these hangers-on. You do realize that Charles has a function under the Constitution and is not just head of highly expensive fairy story. And for Charles too, if this is true, if Charles tell William, no, you cannot divorce or something like that, unlike how the Queen told Charles you could divorce Princess Diana and all of that, like I've said, I don't know if it's in this video or the previous one, but I know I said in tonight's recording, is that Charles do not want the negative coverage to go to him, because right now, while he is the monarch, the talk of town would have been how he treated Princess Diana. He does not want this to be highlighted while he's king. So since the media is talking about Williams and Meghan and things like that, he rather that focus be on that, so he could do his nonsense in the background and enjoy the horse the best way that he knows how. Okay, so that's that. Let's move on. Okay, I'm sort of done with the royals. This is something I think has to do with the US. ICE. All right.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.